Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope that you are always fine. Alright, so uh, for today we are going to continue our discussion to translation technique. Actually, it's for reviewing our previous discussion about the translation techniques in English into Indonesian, but we focus today from Indonesian to English. Alright, actually, after the mid-test, we are going to focus on translating Indonesian version to English, and we also focus on the academic translation, especially the journal article. Several techniques for translating the journal article is first, don't only translate the content into the required language, but also render the article in a form appropriate to the academic culture of the target readership. Because journal article is an academic article, so please make sure that you understand well the content of the article before you translate it into English version. So that's why the reader will understand and know more or know better the content of your translated version. Alright, number 2, read and reread the article before translating to gain clear and unambiguous content to make your translation more precise. Of course, because you will translate it into English, you have to read and reread until you know well about the content, especially when the content is not your field. Yeah, it can be for example, the medical article, nursing article, laws article, and also the others. Number 3, translate the complete article or translate the complete text in one go. It means that please don't take a long time in translating the article because it can be a different sense or tone when you pause translating the article in long time. So you can translate it in one go. Alright, number 4, ask for the terminological resources for the source or target language or links to useful websites. Yes, of course, if it's not your field, you have to find the terminological resources. It can be in the form of dictionary or from websites or from experts. This knowledge transfer will make your work significantly easier and less queries. And then number 5, decide whether the translated text is to be published in academic volume or as popular science literature. It is important to have this information when translating because the translator must adapt the text linguistically and culturally. Alright, if it is published in journal article or it is published in a journal, so there will be some rules to consider. You have to check the rules from the website or from the source. But for the popular science literature, sometimes it is put in the website or in the blogs, and actually there is no strict regulation or a strict format to consider. You can decide and you have to know. Alright, I would like to review. Alright, next we go to translation technique. I would like to review how can we translate Indonesian into English. The first, using adaptation. Adaptation means replacing the cultural elements of a type in the source language with cultural elements that exist within the target language. For example, in Indonesian we can find seputih kapas, ya, seputih kapas, and in English we can translate it into as white as snow because it's more popular to use this idiom other than the use as white as cotton, yeah, something like that. And then addition. Addition is adding information that basically doesn't exist in the source sentence. Yeah. Okay, this technique is only information that is used to assist in delivering the message to the readers. So it is okay for you to add, yeah, to add, but make sure that the additions may not modify message in the source language, yeah, as long as it doesn't alter or change the essential meaning of the source language. For example, wanita itu datang terlambat. Wanita itu datang terlambat bisa ditambahkan dengan the beautiful girl came late. Ya. Nah, bagaimana Anda tahu bahwa saya is beautiful girl? Yes, because perhaps you know from the previous text or from the previous sentences that the girl is beautiful. So you can say the beautiful girl came late. And then borrowing. Borrowing means using words or phrases when translates the source language into the target language. Borrowing can be a pure borrowing without making any change. For example, mixer with X, yeah, mixer. But it can be semi borrowing, yeah, it can be semi borrowing. You can say panic in English, but in Indonesia it's panic, yeah, panic. It's almost the same, but so it's semi borrowing. And then calc. Calc is a literal translation of a word or phrase in translating the source language into the target language. For example, Directorate General into Directorate General. And then variation. Variation means replacing linguistic elements or paralinguistic which influence the linguistic variable. For example, a textual change of tone, style, geographical, dialect and social. For example, berikan buku itu ke gue sekarang. Ya, you can translate it into give it to me now. Even though it's gue, saya, aku. Ya, in English we don't have such word like gue, kemudian juga saya, aku. In English you can just know me, ya, hanya tahu me. Berarti Anda boleh mentranslate hanya give it to me now, something like that. And then compensation. Compensation means replacing the item, information, or position effects in the source language in other parts of the target language because it cannot be realized in the same section in the source language. Ya, karena kalau compensation berarti tidak bisa dipadankan gitu ya, tidak bisa dipadankan. For example, in maaf ya, itu ada kekeliruan, itu TL harusnya SL, kemudian SL harusnya TL. Nah, in SL, for example, sebuah celana, ya, in SL you can change into or you can translate into a pair of trousers. Gak mungkin Anda mentranslate-nya menjadi a trouser, ya, a trouser, but a pair of trousers or like sepatu. Nah, you can say a pair of shoes. And then description. Replace the terms in the source language with the description in the target language. This technique is used when a term in the source language doesn't have a term in the target language. Yeah, it's also wrong ya. It should be SL ya. Harusnya itu SL kemudian SL menjadi TL ya. From the source language, you can say saya suka geduk. Nah, we cannot find getuk in English, so you can translate it by I like getuk, a Japanese traditional food made of cassava. Jadi diberi tambahan deskripsi, ya. And then transposition. Transposition replace the grammatical categories of the source language into the target language. For example, replacing the words to become phrases. Yeah. This technique is usually used because of a different grammar between SL and TL. Jadi boleh transposition bisa dibolak-balik ya. Misalnya frase menjadi word atau word menjadi phrase. For example, in Indonesia we find sangat terampil. Sangat terampil, kemudian target language-nya dirubah menjadi adapt. Alright, next discursive creation. Discursive creation is using equivalent translation techniques while away from their original context. These techniques often appear in the translation of titles, biasanya di judul-judul movies, books, and novels. For example, sang Godfather. Nah, menjadi the Godfather. And then established equivalence. Established equivalence means translating terms in the source language term that is already prevalent in the target language. Yang sudah umum, ya, sama-sama sudah umum. For example, in Indonesia, we say hormat kami, but in English you can say sincerely yours. Ya, not saying our honor, ya, something like that. In a letter, you can say just, or you can write sincerely yours. And then next, substitution. Substitution means replacing the linguistic elements into paralinguistics. Jadi merubah menjadi paralinguistik itu sesuatu yang nonverbal ya, nonverbal. Misalnya bahasa isyarat or sign language. For example, nodding head in Indonesia translated yes, atau sebaliknya. Nah, because it is paralinguistic, sometimes you cannot say, you cannot translate in written. Yeah, sometimes it is for dubbing or interpreting. And then next, modulation. Modulation replaces focus the point of view or the cognitive aspect that exists in the source language, either lexical or structure. For example, tidak semua orang tidak menyukainya. Nah, you want to make it simpler and effective, and you can change it into everybody likes it. Ya, karena tidak semua orang tidak menyukai. Ya, berarti semua orang menyukai, kan? Nah, you can translate it into everybody likes it. Particularization. Uses terms that are more concrete and specific. Jadi menspesifikkan. Technique contrast with the technique of generalization. Jadi kalau particularization, for example, gadis itu senang mengoleksi emas. Nah, emas di sini Anda particularization, Anda particularize into golden ring. The girl likes to collect golden ring. And then reduction. Reduction condenses the information contained in the source language into the target language. Jadi mereduksi, ya, karena sudah umum, sudah tahu. Misalnya di source language, Jokowi Presiden RI. Nah, in the target language you can just translate it into Jokowi, ya, karena sudah tahu bahwasanya Jokowi memang Presiden RI. Jadi mereduksinya. And then next, generalization. Generalization is translating a term with a term that is already well known in public and known to the wider community. Jadi mengeneralisasikan. For example, contohnya bajai, angkot, ya. You translate it into vehicle. Hanya vehicle begitu saja, atau kendaraan umum. Nah, itu tidak apa-apa, ya. Selagi tidak memang bukan fokus, ya, bukan fokus dari translation. But if you want to translate it into bajai, it's okay, and then you can describe it. For example, bajai, an Indian vehicle, misalnya begitu. Itu nggak apa-apa, ya. Linguistic amplification adds elements of linguistic from source language into the target language, sometimes appears in dubbing or interpreting. For example, biar saya saja yang mengangkat telepon. The target language can be I get it. Yeah, I get it. Alright. And then linguistic compression. Ya, mengkompres. For example, apa kamu lapar? Anda mentranslate menjadi hungry, ya seperti itu aja. Itu menggunakan linguistic compression.